Hi, and my name is Pat Snyder. Um, my previous name, my maiden name was Patty Knast, K-N-A-S-T, and I lived in the summers at the trailer park for many, many years. And then my parents had a house on Commonwealth. And then we came back to the trailer park about 11 years ago. So I have a lot of fond memories of being at the trailer park as a child and as an adult, bringing our children back, and then ultimately our grandchildren back to enjoy the times that we had. Even though times have changed in all the world, a lot of things have stayed the same in this small town.
So you had 3 generations.
Yes. Well, well, if you count my dad, it's fourth, because my dad will be 88 next week, and so it's really 4 generations. Yeah.
So I guess trailers have changed tremendously since when you were a kid.
Yes, they weren't air conditioned then, and they didn't seem to need to be air conditioned because it didn't seem as hot as it is now. I guess I just don't tolerate it as well.
Well, these houses weren't here either on the
Right.
beach. Were they?
There was a lot more of a breeze coming through. That smaller houses and things like that. But the trailers are fancier. We have a plaque at the trailer that says, if you're lucky enough to be at the beach, you're lucky enough. And my grandchildren kept saying, what does that mean? And then I explained, you're lucky enough to be here. Not everybody gets to experience being across the street from the beach and having the bay behind you, watching sunrise, sunset, so close, and just very, very pleasant. And when I was young, we would entertain ourselves. Sometimes we were down here without a car for the week. My dad was working, I was with my mom, and we didn't need to go anywhere. We went to the beach. We weren't constantly going to the boardwalk. We just entertained ourselves, played games hours and hours.
Did you have brothers and sisters?
A brother, yeah. My brother's 2 years older, yeah. In fact, my first job down here was helping my brother deliver the daily news throughout the trailer park and houses a few blocks around.
And did you have see the same people every summer? Was it
Yes, you pretty much knew everybody because you were outside a lot, and all the kids kind of congregated together and played. And some people only came down on weekends. We were here most of the summer, my brother and I, with one or the other of my parents, because they would take separate vacations so that we could be here. And sometimes they were both here with us, but it was just very enjoyable, very very down to earth. Nothing fancy. You didn't have a phone. If you needed to make a phone call, you went to either the village market. There was, which is now the Shack. There was a phone booth there, or you went down to the gas station right before the bridge, which is now the Italian restaurant, and there was a phone booth there.
That was Ernie's, and then it was...
Yes, Ernie's had the nice ice sign.
Oh. That's before me.
Yeah. Yeah, they had a little counter. You could go in there and eat. Yeah.
So now what are your accommodations like? Obviously we have a phone, you have air conditioning in your trailer.
So we have air conditioning, which we hesitate to put on, but I did put it on today because I think I'm going to need it tomorrow too. We have cable TV.
And do you know the same people? Do you see the same people now, or is it different?
It's pretty much all different people. Yeah. There were a couple that were, when we first came back in 11 years ago, there were a couple that were still there, and they've since passed away. And so it's different, but you make new friends.
And do you have enough seniority over there? I think I heard it's by how many years you've been here, what, if you get a good spot or not, or?
Well, we were on the front, when we first came back 11 years ago, we were on the front, right across from Mildred's. And there isn't much room outside your trailer to really do anything. And when you have little kids, it's not the most safe place to be. So then we did switch after about 5 years, and we were in the back, which is where we were when I was a kid, and you could go out and play out in the grass there. And the trailer park used to have talent shows.
Really?
At the Deauville. This was before the Deauville reopened. I don't know if it was still called the Whalen. I don't even know if it was called the Deauville now. I can't remember, because I was probably, we're talking probably 1960, and the adults from the trailer park were in the talent show. So I was in the audience watching them, you know, laughing hysterically because they did some pretty funny stuff. But yeah, it wasn't open for, we were just in that main restaurant, what's now the main restaurant area, but it wasn't
open regularly? They opened just for the trailer park talent show?
It was just, and I don't even know, I think this was before the Carpenters came in and or the current owners now. Yeah, I just and my dad used to have pictures of that, and I asked him last year to look for them. He couldn't find them, but he used to have pictures. It was some funny stuff that the adults would do.
Did you have other summer jobs besides assisting with the daily news?
Yes. When I got to be, I think I was 14 or 15, I worked at Mildred's washing dishes, washing the pots and pans. They did have a actual dishwasher for the other things, and somebody else did that job, but I did all the scrubbing of the pots and pans. It was hard work.
I'll bet.
So I did that the one summer, and then I moved up to the Village Market with the Riordan family and was a cashier there, and sliced lunch meat, and
Have all your fingers?
Got to know the Riordans well, and yeah, I guess I did that for 2 or 3 summers, and then I headed off to college. So.
And obviously you have an attachment to this place because you keep coming back. What is it that brings you back?
Yes. It's just, I feel it's just low-key, and you can relax, and the traffic's not bad. The library's so nice. That was like when the library opened, I just thought it was just so wonderful. And if my mother were still alive, she would have loved it. She passed away. Well, actually, they sold the house. She passed away when we got we came back in the park 11 years ago. But she was a great. She used to always go to the Upper Township Library, so this would have been so convenient, you know. But it's just, you know, I said if you want something to eat, there's a couple places to eat. You can ride your bike and not worry about, you know, the traffic being awful. You know, there's several choices of places to eat. I would like there to be like an ice cream store though here.
The Shack.
But it's just, you know, I think you know, if you need to go into Sea Isle for something, drugstore, something, Phil's, you know, it's not that far.
Right.
So if you want to get to where there's a little more excitement, it's not that far.
And what drew your parents here in the first place?
Well, my dad was, he worked in the post office in Camden, Pennsauken, and a friend of his had a trailer there.
Oh.
And that trailer was more than the length it should be. So they had like a 2/3 of a space. And he started talking to my dad, and they bought a small trailer to fit in, so it would, I don't know, however they worked it out, but I think at that point it was like $250 for the whole season.
Yeah. And there are group showers over there? Is that?
We have a shower. We have a shower in the trailer.
I didn't mean group shower, but there are showers that people could use in the past.
There used to be a shower room, or actually 2 shower rooms that you could have access to the key if you you know, there. And now there's actually, in the office, there is a shower there, like, so if you're having guests or something,
Oh, you
you
can
want to access that, yeah. And actually, the owner now, Jimmy Schroeder, who I haven't seen in years, because there's a guy that really runs the trailer park,
Yeah.
but Jimmy is the son of the original owner,
Right.
Max. It was the admiral. Anyway, Jimmy taught me how to swim when I was about
Oh,
10.
really?
He would take a carload of us from the trailer park, and he was probably 18. He'd load us all in the car. We'd go up to the Dolphin Motel, and he gave us swimming lessons once a week.
Wow.
That's how I learned to swim.
Now, did you always have to be out by a certain date, in by a certain date? Is it
Yeah,
kinda-
yeah. Sometimes the date has changed, so now it's May 1st till the end of September. But it's usually pretty much around that same time.
Did you ever run into problems with storms coming and your trailer was here?
A couple times we got a little nervous about it. We always have somebody that we have move it for us, and we have it moved to in Seaville to store.
Right.
There were, you know, a couple. I mean, we've been through a couple pretty good storms, and I was 7 years old for the big storm. The storm was 62.
And that's when you had the trailer or when you had the house?
We had the trailer then, but of course that would happen in March, I believe. It was so
Yeah,
the trailer
so-
was not there. But I remember coming down like a week or two after my parents. We took a ride down, and I do remember like the houses being moved on some sort of truck or. So I have a memory of that, and it was unbelievable. Yeah.
A little bit different from the way they do them now. Fewer regulations, what I've heard from a few
Yeah,
people.
and just seeing, you know, how some houses that were still, you know, out in the bay or in a spot where they weren't supposed to be. Yeah, it was something.
So one of the things that someone said to me when I first got here is you must really like the shore to be here because it is so quiet and yeah. It's hard to explain sometimes to people that.
And it's I don't know, I said the salt air, it just kind of relaxes you. Especially if you know, you're getting away from something and it just.
Are you able to spend most summers here or are you?
I am off in the summer because I'm a school nurse.
A school
I'm a school
nurse.
nurse, yeah. But you know, I'm up and down. So you know, we have a dog and we don't bring the dog to the trailer. So she's not. There are lots of dogs at the trailers, but ours is a barker, and so you know, sometimes my husband will come down, but yeah, sometimes I'll just come down with my dad or I'll come down with the grandkids. The other thing I have to mention, because my husband always teases me, the Fudgy Wudgy Man.
Oh my, I haven't heard this one.
Fudgy Wudgy Man used to come around when I was little through the park. He had like his little freezer attached to a bike, I remember, with all sorts of, you know, ice cream goodies. But you know, I would always get the nickel for the fudgesicle.
Good deal.
And yeah, and it was so funny, I guess it was last week or the week before, where I saw the guy on the beach with ice cream.
Really?
And he had some other kind of thing rigged up. And it was like $4.50.
Now,
And I don't take money to the beach.
what for?
Yeah.
So did your
So.
husband grow up here too, or he had to adjust?
No. He once when we got married, shortly after that, my parents got the house on Commonwealth down about 3 blocks, and then we would come down for a week or two, you know, in the summer, and bring our kids down. So they, even though they started out in the trailer, but they were like less than a year old, so they don't really remember that. And you know, and then when my parents sold the house, they were, you know, everybody was sad, but they were like, how are we going to survive in a trailer? And I said, oh, we'll do fine. If you're lucky enough to be at the beach.
That's
you're lucky
right.
enough.
Well, I thank you.
Sure.
And I thought that we were going to have to hunt people down, but this is great that you wanted to share. And if you think of anything else, give me a yell or
Okay.
email, and I can certainly, I'll be around.
Okay. There was the mosquito man.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if you heard about the mosquito man.
Is that what I think it is?
The mosquito truck.
He went through the trailer too?
And yeah, oh, yeah, and you would like bury your head under the pillow.
Or kids would follow them on the bike.
Yeah. And I often wonder what was in that stuff. They don't do it anymore, so